Hello and welcome. I'm Emily Bazelon, a senior editor at Slate, and I'm here with Dr. Sydney Spiesel. Hi, Sid.
Hi, Emily.
Great to have you with us. We're going to be talking about health and parenting and other fraught issues involved in raising children. And Sid is a pediatrician in Connecticut and a clinical faculty member at Yale Medical School. We are going to talk a little bit today about a bad habit, fingernail biting. I actually happen to be a fingernail biter myself, and I've been trying to stop doing that and also stop my 5-year-old son from biting his fingernails. Sid, what's your feeling about fingernail biting? How distressed should I be?
Well, Emily, I notice you have already defined it as a bad habit. What makes it a bad habit? Why do you think of it as a bad habit?
Well, I guess I think of it that way because it involves, putting your fingers in your mouth, and there's supposed to be some germ exchange, I take it, connected with that. And also just because I think that, it makes one's fingers look ragged, and it also just, I don't think people like watching other people who are biting their fingernails.
That might be a sort of central issue here. But, in principle, we ought not to put dirty things in our mouths, but, we do all the time, kind of randomly, and frankly, it's unusual for kids to get sick. In fact, there's some thinking now that probably there's some relationship between the higher level of allergy in the community that we see and the absence of exposure to dirt. We're kept too clean, so maybe it's not a bad idea. Whether it's a bad habits seem to me to be habits that are harmful. And it's not entirely clear that nail biting is harmful, although sometimes it is. The human mouth is pretty dirty. We've got an extraordinary range of germs in our mouths. And in fact, if anybody ever gets bitten, if a kid does ever get bitten and it breaks the skin, we know that it's critical that the bitee get a course of antibiotics for a couple days because these infections can be so awful. And sometimes you see those kind of infections around the cuticles or the nails or even under the nails of people who bite their nails, but it's not so bad. Not so bad.
Do you think that fingernail biting is a sign of anxiety or stress, or do you think there's something else more kind of general and benign going on?
Well, I think there are two things. Yes, there's no doubt in my mind that anxiety and stress play a role because nail biting, when people are under stress, the nail biting increases. It's a unconscious activity, and it's one of many things that we do when we feel stressed. So as a pediatrician, I'm always kind of interested in when that behavior changes. If kids are biting their nails more often than they had been earlier, well, I sort of wonder what's going on. But there is something also more benign going on. We're all the time, this is kind of built into our gene. We're picking things, we're fooling with our bodies. This is probably left over from sort of primate grooming behavior. We're kind of, in a way, picking our own nits. And I think that's a kind of automatic behavior, which is not so harmful.
When I was looking around the internet for remedies for fingernail biting, there's all kinds of advice out there. People recommend regular manicures and carrying around little emery boards and cuticle scissors. And I did order some very bitter-tasting remedies that you can put on your fingers in hopes that you'll stop eating them. And they really tasted bad.
Yeah, I loved your description of it as tasting like you had licked 500 envelopes.
Yeah, it was unpleasant. And my son was not interested in this at all, kind of had a moment of curiosity and then quickly screamed for me to take it off. He didn't want his fingers tasting badly. And, it occurred to me that like any other behavior, if you're not ready to stop doing something yourself, it's pretty hard for other people to browbeat you into stopping.
That's absolutely correct. And that anxiety about feeling the pressure of people wanting you to make this change when you're doing it pretty much unconsciously anyway can be quite distressing, can be quite a serious problem. But sometimes people do want to change. You want to change. You're feeling there's something wrong with this habit, so you've gone to the trouble of buying this really yucky stuff and at least trying it out on your fingers.
And you know what I realized? When I was researching this piece and writing about it, I was biting my fingernails a lot, and now I've sort of ebbed again. So I suppose there's some hope even for me. And I do hold out hope that for kids. I think there are a lot of kids who bite their fingernails as children but stop when they get older. So that's a relief to know.
I think that's very common. I agree. I think that those kinds of habits dissipate very quickly For some people, other people just, there's something that we all do. We're all driven to do these kind of odd things. Kids who scratch themselves, or adults for that matter, or pick at things. I don't know. It's not the worst thing in the world, mostly.
That's a good way to think about it. There are perhaps worse things that we could all be doing. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Emily.
We'll be back again soon. For Dr. Sydney Spiesel, I'm Emily Bazelon.